Bobbies were gorgeous.
The family was taken aback when Bobby's aunt died of cancer. Bobby's mother was distraught over the loss and decided to move the family to Indianapolis to occupy his aunt's home. With his mother and grandmother in disarray, Bobby dropped out of school in the 8th grade and bore the financial burden, working various jobs to support his family.
Everything with Bobby was family. His mother was still alive when we got married, and he took care of his mother and grandmother for years.
By 1961, Bobby began working for the Indianapolis Coliseum as a stagehand setting up shows. For the teenage Heenan, it was the allure of sports entertainment that most appealed to Bobby.
I met him in Indianapolis, and he was hanging around the match. He was supporting his mother and his grandmother. He had been ever since he was a little kid. Bobby was this young guy that was single. And every night after he'd get home, he'd go out with his friends, and he'd come back and he'd tell us these stories, and they were just, he did this and he did that. And, we're just sitting there shaking our heads. And after one of these sessions, anyway, Ytwf looked at Bobby and he says, "Heenan, if you weren't so good to your mother and your grandmother, I'd kill you." So, Bobby's a great guy. I love him.
By 1965, Bobby's diligence around the ring paid off as he was offered a position by wrestling promoter Wally Cardinal. It was Bobby's big break, and he capitalized by associating himself with a future Hall of Fame tag team, the Blackjacks, Blackjack Lanza and Blackjack Mulligan.
Jack was a main eventer long before I was, and him and Heenan were together. They were main eventers in St. Louis. I thought they were great. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life, and they were really hot with Heenan. And they gave me a call and said, "We'll put this thing together. How do you feel about it?" And I said, "It'd be awesome." I said, "Let's give it a shot." It's like almost the man upstairs drops stardust on something. It happens every now and then. It was magic. I mean, from the first day that this thing happened, it was a sellout.
Heenan was so respected and admired that he was dubbed the Brain by his peers. And the Brain was like a moth to the flame when it came to linking himself with big-time talent.
Bobby was unbelievable. He came in here and sparred with Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens.
We have, as our surprise, one of, as far as I'm concerned, probably an undoubtedly the greatest manager in the wrestling profession today. And we want to introduce today, as our new manager, none other than the intelligent, brain-worthy Bobby Heenan. Bobby, it's so good to have you on our team.
Nick's real analytical type of guy, in his interviews and stuff, where, Bobby was more or less off the wall.
I'll explain something to the people out there. The team of Stevens and Bockwinkel were the World Tag Team Champions. Still are. In my mind, they still are. In their mind, they are. In a lot of people's mind, they still are.
Bobby Heenan brought another look to Bockwinkel that just elevated him to that next level.
And now, Bockwinkel and Stevens, the only thing they have to do is put their shoes on and get in the ring. I'm handling their travel, I'm handling their money, I'm handling their matches, I'm handling their booking.
You put them in there with that dynamic that they had. It was nothing but money.
So remember, it's now Heenan, Bockwinkel, and Stevens.
They reigned as AWA Tag Team Champions for 3 years, and they sold out everywhere. Bockwinkel was pretty cagey with Heenan there. It was a tough combination to beat.
We lived close by, and we shared a lot of time with each other. We would do a lot of things together. He can actually be a little bit satirically funny at times. And his wife, Cindy, God bless her, she's had to put up with Sir Robert all these years. Hell, she's a tough gal.
While Bobby was loved behind the scenes, his persona drew the ire of fans across the Midwest.
He was never above slipping a pair of brass knuckles to one of his men or something that, here again, would agitate the fan. Here comes Heenan. Now he's digging in his pocket. A foreign object he's got. Where's the brass knuckles? And he goes right after. Goes right after Wall McDaniel. He was the quintessential bad guy.
Well, there's one for Heenan, which he richly deserves. And I think every person in that international effort, the 14,000 sellout there, was with him when I threw that last punch and threw that sleeper hold on him.
Bobby was so adept at inciting an audience that on one occasion things went too far. On January 25th, 1975, during a bout in which Heenan was managing, a gunman at the Chicago amphitheater actually took aim at Heenan.
People were falling at ringside. Some crazy person had shot at the ring.
Thankfully, the gunman missed the wily manager, but unfortunately did injure 5 patrons at the show.
The matches, usually with Bobby Heenan participating, even outside of the ring, were much better because of what he could do to incite a crowd.
There's no way I'm getting in the ring with Tito Santana. You're backing out of this one? I'm not backing out of it. I'm getting out of this one. If I have to get all of my attorneys, line them up in Carbo and Blackburn's office, I will be out of this match. Well, I ain't been to Chicago since I was 22.
Hate the people hated him. You know, he was an easy guy to hate. You know, just from his actions and what he would say.
Everybody knows I'm gorgeous, pretty, beautiful, whatever you want to call me. But now I have a brain. A brain nobody's ever talked about before. You can refer to me from now on as Bobby, the brilliant one, Heenan.
Bobby was the greatest ad-libber ever. He was sharp like that. He would come on and do an interview and lay him away.
Stevens and Bockwinkel and Heenan are mad, and nobody pushes up the round. Let alone a guy that calls himself the Big Axe. You know what he is? He's a big mouth and a loud mouth, and I don't like loud mouth. I don't like big mouth.
Heenan was not only a draw as a manager, he was a special attraction when he got inside the ring.
I remember he was wrestling Greg Gagne at the St. Paul Civic Center. Almost 19,000 people slammed into that place.
Whenever they would have that special moment when it was time for Heenan to put the tights on, and that would only happen at the AWA maybe once or twice a year, and they would always make it a real big deal, and they would draw big money when Heenan finally put the tights on.
Maybe the strategy is to put Heenan to sleep.
The loser would have to put on this white weasel suit. I mean, full, you know, arms, legs, and a big long tail.
They made him a weasel suit, put him in a weasel suit.
Heenan is out.
And of course, Bobby lost.
Greg Gagne tries to put the suit on Heenan.
19,000 fans were just, you know, out of control. They were beside themselves.
I don't have to describe it. You can see what's going on. You watch.
It was the most hilarious thing, and of course the fans bought it lock, stock, and barrel.
Still out of work. He hasn't jumped through yet.
Bobby was laying out in the center of the ring, and all of a sudden, he would go, ooh, ooh.
Oh, his hands, he can't get out of it because his hands are in those glove-like mitten ends, and he can't use his fingers. He goes, oh, now he goes after Greg Gagne. Gagne's taunting him.
His overwhelming success in the AWA caught the eye of World Wrestling Federation's Vince McMahon.
Bobby was so quick. Bobby had such a great wit, and Bobby knew how to sell tickets, which is something that's very, very unique.
Heenan craved change and a new challenge, but was leery of leaving behind his longtime friends.
They said, gee, I just don't know what to do, blah, 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 this and that, this and that. This is Bobby. The first obligation you have, as you sit right where you're sitting, is to you and your family. And I says, Bobby, go.
The green light from his good friend was all Bobby needed.
When he left, he was ready. He was ready. He was growing up again. He's going through a new phase.
The WWE was experiencing a popularity boom in the mid-'80s. Bobby made the jump from driving on ice-covered back roads for the AWA to taking limos and flying first class for the WWE. Bobby Heenan was initially asked to manage Jesse the Body Ventura. But when Jesse developed problems with his legs, the Brain was reunited with an old friend, Big John Studd.
My name is Bobby the Brain Heenan. I have outsmarted everybody in professional wrestling because in a very short time I'm going to be stepping in the ring with this man here, a good friend of mine, Big John Studd.
Heenan's family was so powerful because of the composition of the players.
This man strategically put together the greatest stable in wrestling history.
Bobby managed the Islanders, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Mr.
King, like a Hercules. I don't care how big you are. If you don't have any brains, you're lost.
Bobby's superstars were talented and certainly had the ability to stand out on their own. But having the Brain in their corner made their jobs much easier.
Wait a minute!
Bobby Heenan changed things. He wrestled like a manager and managed like a wrestler. Bobby knew what the fans wanted to see, and they got just that, even if it was at his own expense.
Look at this jersey. What's Gretzky's number? 99. Let's check that out. Number 1.
He was the type of guy you just want to grab him and choke him, and you just want to beat him up.
Bobby was there to take some bumps. And Bobby took them very, very well. And brought the crowd to a frenzy when he did it. It was amazing. He didn't mind jumping up on that apron and having the good guy just come over and knock his lights out.
You know, I'm the kind of a man that doesn't like to be made a fool of.
You'd punch him, the hair would fly, his feet would fly up over his head, and the people would just go crazy. He was great at ringside.
In 1985, Vince McMahon began planning for WrestleMania.
We kind of, at that time, were going from wrestling into a little more mainstream, the rock and wrestling connection.
This pay-per-view extravaganza featured unprecedented celebrity appearances, as well as a wrestling supercard. Bobby the Brain Heenan was an integral part of the show, coming out alongside Big John Studd for the infamous $15,000 body slam match against Andre the Giant.
The manager, Bobby the Brain Heenan. When you look at your contract, you're going to think of me. He was just a ham and egger when I took him from nothing and made him.
In 1987, Bobby Heenan joined forces with his once arch-rival Andre the Giant. With the Brain's help, the legendary Andre was immediately catapulted into the WWE Championship picture.
What are you doing with him? You guys aren't together. Come on, man. Let me tell you something, Hogan. You're the one that for 3 years as world champion used this man. Did you ever once in your life offer him a championship match? Andre, what are you doing here with Heenan?
I'm here for one reason. To challenge you for a world championship match in the WrestleMania.
The captivating story of Hogan versus Andre was in many ways orchestrated by the managerial prowess of Heenan. The Brain was such a presence on the show that he managed 2 other contests. But on that monumental evening, Heenan's focus was clear.
This
taking a good look at the champ as we look over the shoulder of Bobby the Brain Heenan. Andre now with an Irish whip in. Look at Heenan, he's been out of shape. Up dropping a big leg, over for the cover.
The memory of Andre the Giant and Bobby the Brain Heenan riding off into the night in that movable ring at the end of WrestleMania 3. That's a moment and a picture that will live on forever.
WrestleMania 3 is an unparalleled success story, as the event set the indoor attendance record of over 93,000 people, a record that lasted over 20 years, and Bobby Heenan was front and center of it all. Weasel chants would fill arenas all across the country as fans heckled Bobby from the crowd. Heenan's reactions to the taunts were often as entertaining as the matches themselves.
I'm a gentleman. I'm Bobby the Brain Heenan, regardless of what these humanoids have to say about Weasel. Do you see any whiskers? Yeah. No, but look at the ears. You can't even see the ears on me. Look at the ears on that sewer rat. I don't have fur on my body. I do not have a tail.
The constant scoffs of Weasel fit Heenan to a T, but the Brain took offense to the echoing cries.
I said, now, Bobby, you're going to be at Madison Square Garden with Big John Studd, aren't you? He said, well, why would you think that I wouldn't be there? He says, well, I'm known, you know, in the past, you weasel out of something. Weasel?
Now look what you got to do. Can't you tell me keep their mouth shut? 70,000+ people yell Weasel at me.
And then he was going to church.
Well, I'm not going to yell Weasel. Thank you very much. Say it again.
I'll put it up. My favorite moments. Bobby in the ring, the outlandish things. Bobby would have to wear a weasel suit.
The Ultimate Warrior fouled over. Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Where we going?
Loser wears a weasel suit. We were just hung on seeing Bobby Heenan in that weasel suit.
The suit has claws and everything. This is very much a replica.
You gonna let me run and get him?
And then he starts to slowly stand up and is chasing the tail.
Anyone that ever was part of Bobby Heenan's family was better for it. Day one and the final day that it was over, your career took a turn for the better. And no one was ever put with Bobby Heenan unless they had earned the right. They could go to that ring with Bobby Heenan and perform at a level that when you walked out of the ring, you looked like you belonged with Bobby Heenan.
I think a lot of Kurt's success as Intercontinental Champion was partially attributable to Bobby Heenan's influence.
Nobody beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody. I sign this man. Every member of the Bobby Heenan family, welcome him.
Rick Rude brought a different style to WWE. The over-the-top, glamorous, self-absorbed character that he was perfect for Bobby Heenan to play off of.
With the WWE, Bobby Heenan was our manager.
What I'm talking about is listening to me. Do it for the family. That's what I'm talking about.
At that particular time, we were the WWE Tag Team Champions.
The Brainbusters were fantastic. Bobby the Brain Heenan made them great.
We took our name, Brainbusters, from Bobby the Brain Heenan, which gave us an immediate connection to Bobby and Bobby's credibility at that time. He was red hot.
I'm the head of the family. You listen to me, you go to the top. You don't listen to me, you're never heard from again.
Bobby Heenan's family were always in the hunt for a title, whether it be the heavyweight championship, the WWE tag team titles, and intercontinental championship.
He bred champions. He represented champions. He spoke for them, and he also backed up their dirty work.
You know, gentlemen, I must say this. You must say nothing. You must stand there and shut up. Because I've got a lot to say. Now I want you people to read my lips. All you humanoids, give as much brains as this little runt back here has hair on his head.
Bobby Heenan would work an interview like nobody else would.
About getting along with me.
His presentation,
In the world to get along with.
how he said things, his phrasing was great.
But you didn't plan on the Hulk.
Well, I'm not worried about it being the Hulk.
I can see it in your face.
I don't care what you can see in my face. I'm not worried about a Hulk Hogan. I'm not worried about a super machine. I'm not worried about a big machine.
He's probably one of the greatest talkers of all time, if not the greatest. He was so spontaneous, so witty, so funny.
You see, I don't care how small you are. I don't care how big you are. If you don't have any brains, you're lost.
He was probably the quickest guy with a one-line comeback, like Don Rickles. He couldn't get anything past Bobby. I mean, he was quick.
Sure. Where's the thing that shows how far you went there?
It's broke. Don't worry about it. I'm keeping it in my mind.
So far, it says you haven't gone anywhere.
I got it right here.
It's not something you learn. It's just something, it's him. It's just it's him being Bobby or Ray or whoever you want it to be. It's just him.
Don't you own a dress? Who dresses you? The state? Nice hat. Well done over your face.
Nice yet. Wait, just hit the hands.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Oh!
He was so entertaining. You didn't never want to miss Bobby Heenan when he was being interviewed. He was the greatest. He could make you laugh. He could make you mad. He was just great.
Come on, Bobby. You're making a disgrace of yourself and the brother. See, he's talking the whole thing. I can't operate with this guy here. Give me a motion.
Bobby has the best wit of anybody I've ever met. I mean, he's as good as any stand-up comic on television. He's as funny as anybody I've ever heard.
How long have you been married, sir?
21 years.
Do you realize on your wedding night, if you'd have killed her, you'd be out now?
One of the most humorous, quick-witted, and entertaining people that you ever will meet in your lifetime.
Well, I'm going to be honest. When I waited up, I have to call the newspaper. You're going to be honest?
Yes, like I always am.
Go ahead.
There's nothing wrong with this cake.
Listen, if you don't believe me, just smell it, kid. Go ahead, smell it. If you smell that funny, oh, there's my cool right now. Hello, Jack. Hell yeah. No, yes, Jack. No, I can't talk to you right now. No, I'm sorry. We had an accident all next week. We had an accident here.
Bobby and Gorilla were like Abbott and Costello.
What are you doing? I'm getting the hell out of here.
What is that? Cash. Oh, you're loaded. You got about $3 in there again. Where on earth is Hot Rod over in Studio B?
You look stupid.
Nice. Come on, a little harder. Come on, kick it in high gear. Hey. Back off a little bit. Where's your costume? Can't you do anything right? Where's your costume? I have my costume on, a natural costume.
Very hard for me to tell sometimes.
What are you supposed to be?
What do you think I am? I'm supposed to have my...
Exactly. Goof. What is it?
He's sitting with a rubber face on. I'm a goof. Worrying's for humanoids. Like you white suckers out there that can't make the payment on your 65 Plymouth. They're going to repo.
They were just great together. They were funny to watch. That's probably why they had a good relationship together.
And a lot of cards and letters. I was just going to mention, there's a lot of people concerned about me. I understand that, well, in Beverly Hills, I happen to know that my mailman right there is hunchbacked and just carrying my mail.
You stop.
You have a rifle.
Will you stop? Just wait a minute. We're on the air here. Absolutely. It was obvious to me. It was obvious to everyone there. Do you have a clue what you're doing? Will you get up and sit down? Well, the program has already started.
No one told me that.
You saw all the stars we got on this week?
I don't have stars. I don't even have any balls or ribbons or bells.
Everything is there. Why didn't you get here early and put it up?
Because I was...
You're so unorganized.
I was delivering gifts for the underprivileged. Did you order this yourself?
Yeah.
I noticed it's not sliced. I mean, not that you guys eat a whole pizza apiece. I meant that it just came here. It is sliced. Fingernail mark.
You got your price. Yours is what, about $1.98?
Depends what he wants.
I'm open for negotiation.
Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon had a special relationship. that showed through their on-air work together.
I'm Girl Monsoon along with Bobby the Brain Heenan, and as you can see, we're here. Let me tell them where we're at. Oh, all right. We're sitting in my palatial estate in Beverly Hills. We are that. What? Why are you telling them that? That's not true. We're here in beautiful Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. Well, it's the same thing, just so the people know what my home is like. It's the exact same look. Mine's a little bigger, though, but you think so, huh? It's the exact same look.
There was just something very special in terms of chemistry with Bobby and Gorilla.
What is this, a joke? Is this a real or what? I had my dinner. Right underneath the donkey. Running for his life now. I knew sooner or later he'd make an ass out of himself. Did you see how clear the water was, Bree? Let's go overtake. Oh, you think I'm going to stand by the edge of a pool with you? What, are you insinuating that I might do something? If you're lying, smile.
The two friends were as good as any duo on television. It was a magical relationship that would never be recreated.
What are you doing? You still working here? You're fired.
Yeah. You'd say
You have to draw us to match this shit.
He'd come back so quick with a one-liner. He could have had his own comedy show.
He's back. Figured out everything down right now.
This all she gave you for real?
Oh, yes, I do. And I'm
It's $5.
I'm just stopping by for
You thought it was $4?
You see, because I've been with the
You thought this was $4?
From USA Network. And next week on the 17th of
You got
July,
$5.
I'm having my own television show.
I didn't let you
Give me a Swisher if you got asked for it!
Bobby and Gorilla did primetime wrestling for 2 hours. And so I decided, you know what, Bobby deserves his own show. He's just so talented. And so we called out 30 minutes without telling USA Network we were doing it. We just went ahead and did it.
The Bobby Heenan Show brought to life the comedic stylings of Heenan. It also featured Lord Alfred Hayes as Bobby's announcer, the Rosati sisters as his oinkettes, and Jameson as his dim-witted sidekick.
Mr. Jameson, resident moron here.
He was way ahead of his time. The show itself. Bobby, again, had such talent. If you take Bobby and put him anywhere, on any television show, when he would have given Johnny Carson a run for his money, he really would have.
We're here making television history right now.
It was, I can say it was interesting. I think everybody was kind of in awe, like, okay, what's going to happen next? Some of the guests were a little odd.
Those vertical things?
Not quite, almost.
Designer hose.
Yeah.
Those are nice feathers. That's a boa?
That's a boa. It was a boa. It's a little ragged now, but I'll get
So are you, so what's the difference?
Right, yeah.
Let's see if you fans can guess where the blow-up valve is on those suits. You'll never guess that. I know what you people are thinking right now, that something's on the stove and you smell bacon cooking. No, it's just the lights are on. It's like a white football game. How do you do? No. We don't touch the host. We don't become familiar. I don't know where you've been. Look at those backs. Anybody want to play handball? Well, sit down. New furniture.
It was quite a thrill for him. Quite a thrill. Something he's never forgotten, never will. And it was an honor to have that opportunity.
Like a virgin. Hey, touch.
You know, not a lot of people know that Bobby started as an in-ring competitor, then he transitioned to one of the, and in my view, the greatest manager of all time. And then Bobby transitioned again. And Bobby transitioned into a color commentator. And believe me, Hulk Hogan is ready here in Madison Square Garden for the match made in hell. It's going to be something else. The wedding's next? No, that's the match made in hell. That's the match made in heaven. Excuse me. Will you get your act together?
He did not miss being sore.
Back together.
He did not miss being sore. He did not miss that part. But he still loved it. It still was something that his mind was always on. So he got to do something, and it was a complete satisfaction for him. It was an enjoyment, and I think it was a reward also at the same time.
Bobby Heenan was a natural fit for the booth. His quick wit and knack for comedy added some much-needed color to WWE's on-air presentation.
Excuse me 1 minute, yes. Hey, Stu, wake up! He fell asleep, he had me leave him a call. He's gonna wake up, he's gonna come over here, Bobby. That'll take 2 hours, we'll be off the air.
Heenan's approach to commentating was relatively simple. Instead of just calling the action, Bobby would offer unique insight into the superstar's character, as well as their current rivalries.
Certainly he was the color guy. I don't know how he would ever done as a standalone play-by-play guy. He might have been great at that too, who knows?
It's a kill. It's not a skirt. It's a kill. Look at Roddy. He's giving the moment. Oh, you no freak. You skirt-wearing freak. Not a kill. It's a skirt.
I get approached by fans all the time who come up to me and say, "Oh, King, you and JR, you're the best commentating team ever." And then almost inevitably, they'll say, "Well, with the exception of Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan."
As a team, they were awesome. I don't know that anyone can recreate the dynamic that those two had together.
I'm gonna have to apologize to the people. I don't think I can really be objective. When have you ever been objective?
It was Gorilla calling it down the middle, and Bobby the Brain putting in his 2 cents everywhere he could. And those two just, you could tell they were having fun together, and they were relaying the match, and no one did it more entertaining than Bobby the Brain.
Reigning Intercontinental Champion, Roddy Piper, mentioned the former champion. Brenda, what are you looking for? I'm looking for those big centerfold pinup pictures of Elizabeth that Ric Flair promised to show on the big screen. Don't start!
Just the back and forth between he and Gorilla Monsoon, that got to be kind of a little soap opera in itself.
I'm a broadcast journalist. You're a liar. I'm a financial. You're a liar. And I'm going to sit here and do my job like the gentleman I am. You're a liar. If you don't like it, you get out of here. You're a liar. Phone in your headset. You know what you can do with it. You're not going to get me upset. You're all upset. Stand there right now. You're not going to get me upset. Don't jump. It's a long way down. Put him up.
The odd couple dynamic between Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan often made the commentary more entertaining than the action in the ring. And while the two gave each other their fair share of zingers, it couldn't be more evident the duo had achieved a harmonious chemistry.
What are you watching here? I'm watching this right now. Oh, you're nuts. Can you believe that? Yes, I know exactly what's going on here. Why don't you be serious?
He was more than a color man because he always could play that persona where he would kind of cheer on the bad guy. So it gave even more impetus behind the scenes and to a television audience the issues between the two combatants.
You see this guy?
The guy was just
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
He knew when to interject humor.
Now, the other brother's name was Bruce, right? Not even that a stupid name. You got 9 months and you come up with Bruce.
Bobby could do it all.
Where'd the
And
mom
he
go?
did it all. As far as being a color commentator in the WWE, and in my own personal opinion, he's the best ever.
I would have voted for the head shrinkers. I would have voted for Bastion. Hey, Booger's my pick. I beg your pardon?